Hello everyone, myself Sabri and I welcome you to our channel Solution Bridge Network and one-stop solution for all your Power Platform tutorials. Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to understand what is a SharePoint list form customizations. You all obviously know what is a SharePoint list form. It is nothing but the form that pops up whenever you click add new or edit or view any of the SharePoint list item. Now, what we are trying to achieve here is to replace this default SharePoint form experience to a complete customized Power Apps Canvas app. By replacing it with the custom Canvas app, you will have options to do further more customizations. As you're already using the SharePoint form, you know the limitations that we have here, like you may not be able to have a dependent dropdown, you may not be able to call a certain Power Automate flows, but leveraging the Power Apps Canvas apps SharePoint forms, you will be able to make all the possible customizations like what you do within the Canvas apps. This is the suggested approach by Microsoft to replace InfoPath Form Services. As you already know, InfoPath Form Services in SharePoint Online will be permanently removed on July 14 and no extension options currently exist. So Microsoft's recommendation is to replace it with Power Apps. Now let's deep dive into the video and understand how we can create the SharePoint list form experience. I've already taken a sample list for me. And here you will see something called integrate. And in the integrate, you need to go and select Power Apps. And here you can directly click customize forms. Upon clicking the customize forms, you will be redirected to the canvas experience of Power Apps where you will be able to start customizing your form. Let's wait for the app to get loaded. Now you can see that our canvas window opened. Let me skip the pop-up. And now you can see it is a pre-built Canvas app with all the columns that is available on my SharePoint list. And here you see an additional component that is SharePoint integration. You should be aware of this if you have already used Power BI integration in Power Apps, and this is similar to Power BI integration. If you select the SharePoint integration, you have few options. And the first one is data source, which is nothing but the name of the list, whatever we have connected to. And if you come to the next option, let's say first let's go to on save. Here, the on save property is nothing but whenever you click a new item, you have a save button. And this is when this SharePoint calls the SharePoint integration on save property. And upon clicking, this will submit the SharePoint form 1. And there are certain other options like on view, on new, on edit. On new is nothing but this plus new icon. And similarly, on view and on edit will comes upon, let's say if you click an item, this will be the view property. And let's say if you click this will be the edit property. That is how your SharePoint integration gonna tell your Power App whether the user is wanting to open a new form, edit the form, save the form, or view the form. Now I'm not going to make any changes here. Let me go ahead and save this and let me publish. Here you might notice a different thing in the publish dialog box which says publish to SharePoint. So upon clicking this publish to SharePoint, this immediately published this form experience to the SharePoint. So all the users who have access to that SharePoint list will be able to leverage this form for adding, viewing, and modifying the request. Let me go back to the site, close the form, reload the site, and make sure my site cache is cleared. Once that is done, probably we can try editing or adding a new request and see how it works. Let me try clicking the plus new icon. Upon clicking, now you can see the Power App, whatever we created, is loading. So this will give us the customized Power App, whatever we have created. So let's say, let me add in some of the informations. Let me say the project name as sample. Task ID, I can say T001. Task name is again sample. Assigned to, here it is a text column. I'm leaving it blank, and the status, I'm leaving it blank. And now let's say, let me click on save. On saving this, you should have the new entry, whatever you created will be available here. You see? This sample T01 sample is what we have created. Now, if you try to view any of the existing record, you will still see the same Power Apps experience, and even the edit all will give you the same Power App experience. So one thing, what you see here is the real estate. So let's say you have a privilege to change the real estate. Go to the settings, and in the display, now it is default set the orientations to portrait, and you can change it to landscape. And in the landscape, you still have an option to select the size, either large, small, or custom. And in the custom, you will be able to give in the defined width and height. I would like to go with large for now. Let me say close. And here, let me select this and make sure I have two columns on the list so that I will be able to see it in a clear, nice view. Let me click on save. This will save the information directly into my app, whatever we have created. And you should be aware this SharePoint list form customizations, whatever you are doing is by default saving it into your Microsoft default environment. Reason being, all the users will be a maker in this default environment. In this form experience, I would like to add one header. So let me reduce the screen size a bit, and I would like to add a header here. Let me insert a text. I will align it to the center. Let me give a dark background color to it, and let me make sure the text is in white so that we will have a contrast look. I would like to call this as project and task list. I would like to make it bold, and let me say I will increase the size of this from 10.5 to 15. Now I have a simple header with the form design. Let me click on publish. As I said, once you click on publish, this will automatically push this form directly to the SharePoint. So now let us go back to the SharePoint and reload and try the new experience, whatever we have created. Now, if you try clicking plus add new, you will see our new app, whatever we have published with a more real estate and a header. Yes, you see the project and list tasks. And here you have the two columns, whatever we have created with changing from the portrait orientation. As I said, by leveraging Power Apps to the SharePoint list forms, you will have further more customizations on the user data entry, and you still have access to leverage all the capabilities that the Canvas app can do for you. Since we understood how to create the SharePoint form experience, one major thing what we would like to understand here is who can create a SharePoint list form, or who will be able to edit and customize the SharePoint list form. So the prime thing here, all the person who has edit access to this SharePoint list. So either the members or the owners still have access to create or to edit an existing SharePoint forms. Since this form experience, whatever you're creating, go to default environment. Here, all the users have a maker privilege, and hence a person with an owner privilege or a member privilege to that SharePoint list will be able to edit. We do have few key considerations or limitations when it comes to a SharePoint list forms. The first one, what I would like to highlight is there is no true ALM pipeline. You will not be able to create a dev, test, and production promotion like a standalone Canvas app solution. The second point is you cannot package SharePoint custom forms into a Power App solution for a managed environment. It lives outside the ALM solution framework entirely. Third one, the sharing and permission. You cannot manually share this form. This access is completely inherited from the SharePoint, as I said previously. And the fourth point, mobile responsiveness is limited, and this does not have an offline capability, no deep linking with SharePoint context. And the fifth limitation, what I have already said, this is on the access. Any user with an edit permission on the SharePoint list or library will be still able to edit the app. And since this is already hosted on the default environment, there are some other considerations that we need to keep in mind. As you are already aware, Microsoft recommends default environment to be used as personal productivity environment, and we should not host any of the production applications into it. But my SharePoint form, whatever I'm creating, will be an enterprise production Power App that I need to manage so that other users do not have necessary permissions or privileges to use it, and I can apply some DLP governance over it. Since it is living in the default environment, we do not have options to do that. If you ask me, do we have an option to change the environment? And the answer is yes. With the help of your Power Platform administrators, you will be able to change the environment where your SharePoint list form apps get created, by which you will be able to maintain and manage it like other previous apps. By this, we come to end of this video. In the next video, I will be explaining you how you can change the environment from the default to the specific environment for SharePoint form customizations. And also, I will explain you how to assign a security role by which you will prevent all the members and the owners by editing this SharePoint list form, whatever you created. If you have any questions, please post it in the comment section and we will be happy to help. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, hit the like button, and press the bell icon for our new video alerts.